As you probably know, today we celebrate Earth Day. The choir has chosen a song by Tom Chapin that was played on one of the Apollo missions to awaken the astronauts as they gazed at this pretty planet.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Charlotte. It's my privilege to welcome you here this morning. My name is Marty Bacher. I serve as the senior minister, which is a title that I like less and less as I become more senior and senior. So I'm going to go for something. The new young cool minister. I'm going to affirm that as my reality. Just grateful you can be here today. We're here to celebrate that there's one life. That life is good. That life is expressing in, through, and as each one of us. So we hope that something that happens this morning reminds you of your divine magnificence. You see, we teach a set of universal principles and have a set of practices that allow us to connect with the divine and have a deeper experience of that. Now, you can learn all of that on your own, but we find that spiritual community deepens our experience of this journey. So we're grateful you're here. We want to welcome those joining us on Access 21, those who will see us on YouTube. We're grateful for the opportunity to share with you and to share our message. We have before us this very day very many things happening. So in the interest of that, I do want to make you aware of a couple things. You can all go online always at unityofcharlotte.org. By May 1st, you'll see the new website should be up and running, and so we're excited about that. We're excited about all the newness. But a few things I want to make you aware of. Today, we're going to put the last of our books out that we're giving away. We invite you to take some of those books home or share them with friends or whatever. We are in a process of letting go of the old and creating the new, and it's very exciting. On May 6th, we're going to have a an opportunity to recreate ourselves in the way we do church. And so on that day, we're going to have our Sunday host training. It's also our potluck Sunday, so we'll grab some food. And then for those of you who would like to support people who are joining us having an extraordinary experience and helping us create the most dynamic service possible, we're going to take a new approach based on the small group ministry idea. So we'll start launching that with our Sunday morning. Eventually, every group that's functioning in the church will be some part of a small group. We're going out of individual into team effort. And I'll tell you, the benefit and the blessing of that is we get to learn how to do this healthfully. It means we have to let go of martyrdom. I know there's always a catch, but learning ways to be not only to serve but to be served. So a lot more about that as we go on. So that'll be on May 6th. May 12th, we're having a final cleanup day, community cleanup day in that morning to finish up getting the place ready. And then, of course, we all know May 18th, Friday, is our dedication ceremony. Yay! I know, it's exciting. There's invitations on the chairs, help yourself, and there's more of those if you'd like to invite friends. For me, this is an opportunity. It's a party, It's an opportunity to invite people to the community or invite people back to the community that may not have been here for a while. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to outreach. We've got some amazing speakers and guests and music, and it's going to be cool. And, of course, it's going to be cool. Just take my word on that. So, having said all of that, we're going to begin our inward journey. As you know, we're in the midst of our 40 days of prayer, and so I've asked our president, he has this other title that he always wants me to call, and I get confused on it, but our board president to lead us in the prayer that we've written for our 40 days today. Sir. Doesn't he look wonderful? Svelte? I'll tell you what.
Esteemed president would be okay. Just, yeah, His Holiness. Yeah. So, please join me in this deep spiritual practice, prayer for our church. In the stillness of this moment, I open my heart and mind to the divine presence of God. I live, move, and have my being in the one life of God, and I speak this word with power and complete acceptance. I know our beloved spiritual community is an instrument of divine love, joy, and wisdom in the world. I proclaim that Unity of Charlotte is nurturing a deep, mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles for all its members, friends, volunteers, ministers, and ministries. I accept that everything that is necessary for the perfect unfoldment of this church, including people, resources, and creative ideas, is right now easily and abundantly supplied. As we move forward to fulfill our mission, I know and accept that we are revealing spiritual truth in our community and in the world. We are a dynamic, vibrant, relevant, and prosperous church. We are blessed and we are a blessing. Life is good and all is well. Through the power of the living Christ, I release this word into the law of mind. In joy and gratitude, I give thanks that this word is made manifest in perfect timing and divine right order. And so it is. Amen.
Today's reading comes from Dr. Howard Thurman. This has been on my mind a lot of late. And it comes from a writing he wrote called Whatever a Person Soweth. You can leave that off. Thank you. But I would invite you just to close your eyes and relax as we allow these words to sink into our consciousness. He writes, I watched him for a long time. He was so busily engaged in his task that he did not notice my approach until he heard my voice. Then he raised himself erect with all the dignity of a man who had exhausted the cup of haste to the very dregs. He was an old man. As I discovered before our conversation was over, a full 81 years. Further talk between us revealed that he was planting a small grove of pecan trees. The little treelets were not more than 2.5 or 3 feet in height. My curiosity was unbounded. Why did you not select larger trees so as to increase the possibility of your living to see them bear at least 1 cup of nuts? He fixed his eyes directly on my face with no particular point of focus, but with a gaze that took in the totality of my features. Finally, he said, these small trees are cheaper, and I have very little money. So you do not expect to see the trees reach sufficient maturity to bear fruit? No, but is that important? All my life, I have eaten fruit from trees I did not plant. Why should I not plant trees to bear fruit for those who may enjoy them long after I am gone? Besides, the person who plants because she will reap the harvest has no faith in life. Years have passed since that sunny afternoon in Georgia when those words were said. Again and again, the thought has come back to me. Besides, the person who plants because she will reap the harvest has no faith in life. The fact is that much of life is made up of reaping where we have not sown and planting where we shall never reap. No person gathers merely the crop that he or she herself has planted. As we deepen in this 40 days of spiritual consciousness, we are aware of those who have come before, who have planted the seeds of spiritual growth, of understanding, of those who had the vision to create this sacred place we call our spiritual home. The vision of opening a New Thought church in Charlotte, North Carolina, inspired by words of truth, spiritual philosophy that teaches that God is present in all things, in everyone. And so I am filled with a sense of gratitude for those who have gone before. And I am filled with a sense of gratitude for those who are present now. And I'm grateful for our service, that generations to come might learn that they are divine beings, that they are never separated from the source, that they have the power to live life fully. And so with profound joy and gratitude, I do give thanks for this day, for this opportunity to be together, all of the blessings in our life. And through the power of the living Christ, I speak this word knowing that it is so. As together we say, and so it is. Amen. So I'd like to invite you, if you will, to stand and join me in our affirmation, and then to remain standing as we sing our congregational song. Together. Today, I give myself time for spiritual renewal. I choose to see the presence of God in everyone and everything. I honor my past, I celebrate my future, and I live in the present. Spirit within me guides my path of joyful living. Today, I give myself time for spiritual renewal. So I'm going to do this little welcoming, and then we'll have you guys. How's that? Is that what we talked about? Okay. It was like 10 minutes ago, so who knows? So it's such a wonderful opportunity to be part of something. As I was reading those words of Dr. Howard Thurman, I'm just profoundly aware of the fact that a church is a living organism, that it's always growing, it's evolving, and it's becoming. It's not who it was when it started. Some of those people have moved to a new dimension, and there's a group of us now, and there'll be a group coming. And so that livingness needs to be re-embraced and recommitted to over and over and over. And so in our community, we have the opportunity to become members. And so for me, there's some formality to that. You get to vote in elections. You get to vote for board members. If we ever buy or sell property, you get to vote on that. All kinds of really cool stuff that you are thinking like, whew, hope I can do that. You don't have to be a member to give us money. Just want you to know that. Just like to get that out of the way really quickly. We'll take anybody's money, time, effort, and involvement. But so for me, it's not so much that I've joined the church and now I'm somebody. It's really that deeper commitment that we make to ourselves and our own spiritual growth. So today we get to welcome some new members into our community. And by their joining, they have agreed to our covenant, our agreement, which says that they are agreeing to membership from a desire to know God and to understand the spiritual laws. It allows us to live life according to the inspiration of the Christ within. So we intend by our joining to make our spiritual growth and development a priority. We recognize that by joining, we are a contribution to the community. That not only have we joyously received, but now we're willing to give and participate in helping to create the programs that serve and nurture the world and to expand those. And so we say that through our membership in unity, we honor the God in ourselves and God at work through this church. We agree to be in alignment with the basic unity principles. And that's all good until it's not. Talk about that later, right? It's always good to be like, yeah, until it gets rough, but that's where the real work gets to be done. And so we agree to continue the process of learning and deepening and allowing our lives to be an example of what it means to be a spiritual being having a human experience. And so we join other congregants in creating a loving, open, welcoming atmosphere for others that will join us. We agree that we will include our center in our prayer life, knowing the highest vision for it. We agree that by serving, that we agree to serve as a volunteer to help put forth the wonderful things that take place here. And we agree to be intentional in speaking with constructive purpose about our church and others in it. Don't even get me started about this one. And so from all of those places, we understand that Unity of Charlotte values their membership. And that if they ever make a new decision, we welcome that and we honor that. You see, I always love that we are a church that's here by choice, right? Nobody has to be here. And so we can choose to be here, and if we choose not to be here, then we handle that in a loving, open, honest way. And as a result, we can expect that to be reminded that we are precious children of the Most High, that we are loved and accepted for exactly who we are, and that we are supported in our spiritual journey. And so it says, I will expect to grow and become more fulfilled and prosperous. I can expect to receive an abundance of love, friendship, empowerment, spiritual, and educational support from my Unity family. Not a bad deal, if you ask me. So we have a number of individuals. I know they couldn't all be here, but let me read these names, and Bill's going to help me, because we have both a certificate and a gift. I'm telling you. Telling you, we give you the key ring. You've got to provide the key to the kingdom. And when I call your name, just come on up here, and Bill will help me with this. So Jim Davis. Now, for those who did not believe in miracles before, that's one for you right there. Let's see. Liz and Earl King, who could not be here today, but so definitely he gets a key ring. Definitely. Here, let me give you all these, buddy. Thanks, buddy. Bryn, how do I pronounce your last name correct? Hassar. Bryn Hassar, who's delightful, and we're so delighted you're here. Welcome her. This is your chance to hug on people, Bill. Appropriately. We have Kay Simpkins, who we love and adore. Douglas will, according to this, Doug will, who we're excited, who's probably working because that's what he does, but we'll make sure he gets that. His lovely bride is here, which is, again, another miracle. And then we have a lovely couple who've jumped in with both feet, John and Cynthia Root. We're so grateful for you. So Randall, I got to note, Randall's been wonderful. He's helped us with our sound and all kinds of things. He could not be here this morning, but he wanted us to think of it. So Randall Sather. Another lovely couple, Susan, last name is? Haney, right? Yep. And Jerry Baberick. See? Yep. We're so grateful you're here and part of this community. We love how not only have you joined, but you've joined in a big way. We also first have another member who joined this quarter, but for some reason didn't get a certificate or a key ring, and I'm not sure what that's about. His name is Marty Bacher. And so I got a cool podium, though, so, I'm feeling good. So, y'all, thank you so much. We're just so blessed that you are part of this community, that we're creating something magnificent and wonderful. And it's all about you, Thank you. So, I'm excited today to welcome a longtime friend and a newer friend. I think we were talking about this for a minute. I think I met Aaron for the first time when I was still living up in Sun Valley. So that's like a decade ago or something. Just a wonderfully talented musician. Then he got really enlightened enough to have a beautiful partner. And so Elizabeth is with him here. I've heard her in Salt Lake. And so she spent about 5 years here in Charlotte. And is this the first time for you here? So welcome. You're going to love it. And so they currently live in Park City, Utah. They are incredibly talented musicians, and so when they told me they were going to be in town, I was like, oh yeah, you must come share. So please, won't you welcome Aaron English and Elizabeth Hareza, correct?
Harza. And I don't know that anybody's gotten it right anywhere ever. So. English, funnily enough, they get right. All right, we need a keyboard to wake up. There we go. Thank you.
This song is called Doves, and it's about not being afraid to make mistakes.
I'm coming down like the sun into the water now. Oh, I am coming down like a dove into a world of shells. Oh, I'm coming down like a dove. Oh, like a dove. Oh, I'm coming down like a dove. Oh, like a dove. Oh, if you catch me, I won't need to fall. Oh, if you catch me, I won't need to fall so far. 'Cause I see you now, holding your pain, drawn in a frown. And I do feel you now, like you're a part of me somehow. And I hear you now, holding your pain without a sound. Oh, could be smiling into the door. Oh, I'm coming down like a dove. Oh, like a dove. Oh, if you catch me, I won't need to fall. Oh, if you catch me, I won't need to fall so far. 'Cause I learned I can fly. Oh, as I learned I can fall. I learned I can fly. Oh, as I learned I can fall. Oh, I learned I can fly. Oh, as I learned I can fall. Oh, I learned I can fly. Yes, I learned I can fall. Oh, oh, so far. So far, I don't wanna fall. So far, so far, so far, I don't wanna fall. So far, oh, I'm coming down like the sun into the water now. Oh, I'm coming down like a dove into a world of shells. Oh, I'm coming down like a dove. Oh, like a dove. Oh, I'm coming down like a dove. Oh, like a dove.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. See why I love these kids. So glad you could be with them. You're going to be playing someplace tonight, so be sure and tell us where that is when you come back up, for those that would like to see more of you in a perhaps more relaxed setting. So how good is life? It's really good. Yes, 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 yes. We have been looking at this idea around spiritual renewal and what that means and how to do it and all that good stuff. And I'm aware of an idea. I was sharing about this idea that Michael Beckwith, who I was privileged to study with, it was one of my first teachers in the School of Ministry, and he was still Reverend Michael and not superstar, megastar person yet. And so we had a lot of fun. In fact, our first retreat together, I got to make fun of him the whole time, so that was kind of fun. But I remember one time him saying this idea that it's all about 90% of our spiritual growth is about letting go. And I didn't understand it at the time. I'm not sure I still understand it, but I've come to appreciate more and more that this idea of letting go is really where it all happens. You see, when we are first arriving on the planet, and we have these small little bodies, and we're kind of new to this whole experience, we're open and receptive, and we're just kind of blessed. We all love babies, you can't not love a baby, just because of that innocence. And so when we come into the world, we are born of original innocence, of blessing. And then as we accustom ourselves to the ways of the world, we start to take on certain things. We start to believe that there are truths. We start to form opinions. We start to learn all kinds of wonderful things. We also start to learn some not so wonderful things. We learn how to talk. We learn how to do all the things that go along with growing up, but we also may learn some things that aren't so wonderful. We may begin to think that we are less than lovable, that we are less than whole, that we are less than perfect. We may learn to think that love is a conditional thing based upon our behavior, how we show up, what we do. We may learn that money is hard to come by and that you need to live in fear around money. We may learn all kinds of things that may or may not be true. And we don't realize that at some point that has been incorporated into our consciousness, into our way of understanding. And so no longer is it an intellectual idea, it's just how the world is. You ever notice that? That we have opinions about life, about people, about things, places. We have opinions about all kinds of stuff. I was reading just recently a great line from Pablo Coelho, who was saying, it is not our opinions that matter, it's our example. And so when we start to re-examine the opinions that we have formed about life, about reality, even about God, many of us have gone through a re-examination. How many of you grew up in Unity? One? Okay, a young one, yay, good on you. Don't listen to this part. I'll tell you the good stuff later. Right? So the rest of us got here because we were seekers. We say, I'm looking for something that fits. It's funny, I've often said, a great teacher of mine said, in my lifetime I've had many pairs of shoes. Some wore out, and some just no longer fit. But they were all good shoes, which is so interesting because I wore these shoes today, and they no longer fit. So if you'll excuse me, time to let go. Once again, it's like, oh, now I remember why I never wear these shoes. They hurt. So I'm going to just give you some barefoot preaching today. Bringing you the good stuff today. Right? But you see, I never am one to make wrong where I was, and yet it didn't fit. I was looking for something that made sense at my heart and my mind. And so, I was certain, absolutely certain, that I was not going to find what I was looking for in church, because I didn't believe in organized religion. I guess that's why I found the church that I found, because they were anything but organized, Sometimes we feel that way around us, We're not, not all that organized. We're trying to get that way. But I was seeking something, and I didn't know what the something was. Lo and behold, if I wouldn't find it in a church and become a minister, which I never, ever in 1,000,000 years thought I would do. As that great line says, so you're saying there's a chance. Right? So perhaps because of my resistance, it was inevitable. But when I came into this teaching, and I began to realize that while everything I had learned had value, there was a larger, more expansive way of approaching spirituality, approaching life, and that I did not make to make anyone else wrong about what they believed, but I did need to find my own way. One of the things that I learned along the way is this idea about letting go. You see, there's that old story about Michelangelo, who, right? Michelangelo did the Statue of David. Okay, you should Google everything I tell you, you guys, because it just comes to me, and I don't do fact checks. But there's a story about Michelangelo talking about when he was carving the Statue of David, and he said, I just cut away everything that wasn't the prototype. And so, in a way, our spiritual growth, if we are to say that we live, move, and have our very being in the presence of God, that God lives its life through us, that closer than hands and feet and nearer than breath is the divine, then that would mean by our very heritage we are divine beings. And so if we would be willing to let go of anything unlike that perfection, our lives would work. We talk often about how the universe is always saying yes to us. It's so wonderful. Isn't that wonderful that the universe always says yes to us? And so, for me, the journey, once I began to understand spiritual principle, once I began to re-envision a concept of God, of the divine, I realized I didn't have to change God's mind about anything. I spent a lot of time on my knees as a child trying to get God to shape up, run things the way I wanted them to be run. But I learned that the universe is operating according to spiritual principle. Jesus taught us this when he said, "It is done unto you as you believe." Just tucked in there somewhere. And it didn't really have full understanding for me until I began to realize that it's all done unto us as we believe. When we believe that life is hard, we create the conditions for it to be hard. When we believe that love is scarce, we create that scarcity. When we believe any idea of lack and limitation, we create it, and the universe supports us in it because that's what the universe does. Good news, my friends, is that if it's always supporting us, it's always saying yes, it's always working according to spiritual principle, then we might want to look at what are we declaring as reality. If we form the opinion that life is hard and the universe has supported this, we now have evidence, which allows us to be right, which sometimes is fun. Doesn't get the job done, but it's sometimes fun. But then when we say, aha, well, what if I was willing to have myself fully and completely supported by life? All that I need comes to me. All that I desire is already provided. Jesus said to us this. He said, it is the Father's, it is the universe's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. Yeah, telling you, it's the good pleasure. So that doesn't sound like a lot of resistance. That doesn't sound like, let me think about it. Go ask your mom. It's like, yes, I will give you what you ask for. My teacher said to me one time, you do not get what you want. You get what you can embody. Meaning that what we can not only conceive but believe becomes our experience. So the work we're doing is healing those mistaken beliefs. When we release those limiting ideas, then we can create a new reality based on an abundance consciousness. And I mean an abundance of love, of joy, of money, of time. Right? How cool is that? So there's some keys in letting go. It turns out, one, and I'm going to say some things. I'm always hesitant to say this, but I'm going to say this. I want you to hear, I know some of you in this room had horrible things happen to you. I know that. And so, hear me when I'm saying this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you. As I think about Oprah, we all think Oprah's Oprah. But she had some stuff happen that many of us wouldn't have made through. And so, but the stuff that has happened to us is not what defines us. It's what we do with that stuff. So when I'm hearing this, I'm saying it in this context. First of all, things happen. And we make decisions about what's happening, and then those get formalized as a belief system that we're not even aware of, and we live our life accordingly. But when we are willing to step into our greater glory, into our greater possibility, into our greater something, we have to realize that we can't carry all our baggage with us. There ain't no room in the kingdom for all your baggage. Sorry. Right? So first of all, we got to make the decision. We got to make the decision to let it go. Talking about a friend of mine, a very dear, close, personal relative, who's talked about her former relationship that just ended only 40 years ago. Still a source of pain and discomfort. So I judge her harshly, just as you all are. Right? I don't. I love everybody. But I'm thinking, you might want to let that story go. You might want to let it go. But you have to make the decision that no more will I return to my old, worn-out story. Take the best of it. Take what we've learned from it. Move it forward. But you got to make the decision, which implies that you have a choice. You have a choice to let it go. I would say to you, feel the pain. Feel it. Experience it. Running from it hasn't worked up till now. Drinking it away, doing whatever we do to avoid it, doesn't get rid of it. Allow it to be there. It's just pain. And when we embrace it, then we can let it go. Express that pain appropriately. Get it out of your system appropriately. Part of the reason we fear anger is because we see people dealing with anger inappropriately. Anger is a wonderful thing. Channeled, right? Nothing quite as motivating as anger. Not where we want to live all the time, but but express it appropriately. Don't do spiritual bypass. I'm going to be all spiritual. I'm not feeling what I'm feeling. Tell your body that. Tell everybody around you that, right? Accept responsibility. I come to this question time and time again of how do I create, promote, or allow what's happening in my life? How did I create, promote, or allow that experience? Now, if you were a child and you were abused, hear this differently. It may just be some soul cosmic journey. I am so sorry. And yet, if that's not the question, then the question is, how long do I keep this? Oprah didn't get to be Oprah because she was abused as a child, except for the decision to become Oprah. Except for the decision to say, I am more than what has happened to me. And I will take that pain and I will take all that and I will channel it into something bigger, better, and more powerful. And she has changed the planet. She has changed the planet. So, here's a hard one. You ready for it? Stop blaming others or yourself. Sometimes us New Thought people take our old blame the other person and we learn we are responsible for our lives and then we start blaming ourselves. Just give up blame altogether. Don't need it. Can we have a healing? Right? That we all are doing the best we can at any given point. But choice happens now. We create our future from this moment forward. And so by accepting our responsibility, by accepting our power, accepting who we are, then we can make a new choice, and it doesn't happen by blaming ourselves or others. It's just a this or a that. When we do that, then we make the choice to forgive. To say, love is bigger than this. Doesn't condone behavior, but it says, I am more than this and this person. We are not our unskilled behavior. Isn't that good news? And yet we all have some unskilled behavior, right? So we're not condoning the unskilled behavior. We're just saying, I choose love. I choose to see the divine in you. I choose to see divine myself. I may still not have you over for dinner, but I'm going to recognize you as a divine being. So when we learn to forgive ourselves, when we learn to forgive others, it creates the freedom that we can then focus on the here and now. Focus on what's happening in front of us. Sometimes we miss what's in front of us because we're either attached to the past or we're projecting into the future. And he's going to go, I'm here. I'm here. I remember I was interning my first year in ministry, or in school of ministry. I'd come from a large church. I wanted to do a small church. And so we had this small church, good day, we'd have 15 people, including me and the minister. So, and it was like, okay, well, this is different. But the conversation always was, when the people get here, da-da-da-da-da. When the people come, da-da-da-da. And it's like, I'm here. I'm the people, right? Who's in front of you to love today? That's your ministry. And if you do that well, and hear, O Israel, this word, love what's here. We're not waiting for everybody to get here so we can really do what we do. We're doing what we do right now, and that attracts others that are like us, that can be fed and nurtured and fulfilled in what we're doing. Right? I'm just about ready to launch into my talk here. No, I kid you. So when we learn to focus on the here and now, we recognize that the fastest and best tool we've got is gratitude. You see, you're healed when you can look at those painful experiences and be grateful for them. You don't have to repeat them, But the things that I've gone through that have put me in this pulpit were horrible. And I'm grateful for them. Don't want to do them again. But I'm grateful because I know I would not be who I am today had I not endured the pain and experience that I experienced. For me, I'm a slow learner or not that bright or something, so I just had to make it more painful to get it. I don't know, but I'm grateful. Gratitude is the key. Surrendering to what is. You see, I used to think that surrender meant giving up. And I now know that what surrender truly means is opening up. That surrender means accepting this moment, this body, this life with open arms. It involves getting out of our own way and living in accord with our higher will, expressed as the wisdom of the heart. There's a wonderful saying that I'll end with today, and it says, when you come to the edge of all you have known, one of two things will happen. You will either step onto solid ground, or you will learn to fly. I choose flight. Let us pray together. As we do give thanks for this day, as we do give thanks for the many blessings of our lives, as we give thanks for the recognition that there is indeed one life, one power, one presence, one being, that presence and power is our very life, that it expresses itself through us, we can surrender. We can open up to the greater possibility. We open our hearts to absolute unconditional love. We open our minds to divine wisdom. We open the very portal of our soul to recognize the one life, everywhere present, always available. And so in this moment, we simply reaffirm what we know at some deep core level, that we are divine beings, that we are created in the image and likeness of the divine, which means all of the qualities of wholeness, of love, of joy, of beauty, of harmony, of peace, of abundance are already ours. And so in this moment, we graciously and easily release that which no longer serves us. We wash ourselves free of the mistaken ideas, of the limiting beliefs. We remember the truth, and indeed the truth sets us free. We declare wholeness as the order of day, allowing that wholeness to reveal itself as health, as well-being, as vitality. We realize that there is indeed only love. And as we open our hearts to unconditional love, we choose to forgive ourselves and others. We allow our relationships to be healed, to be blessed. We remember that right here and right now, we are abundant beings. That abundance is a quality of spirit. And so joyfully, we participate in divine flow. Joyfully, we give. Graciously, we receive of the spiritual bounty that is ours for the awakening. How good it is to know this truth. As we come together this day, we remember we are blessed. We extend a blessing. We bless this spiritual community, this divine idea known as Unity of Charlotte. We give thanks for all that have gone before and all that will come after in this stream of consciousness unfolding. We bless our brothers and sisters, all of our brothers and sisters around the planet. We are holding a high vision for a planet at peace, for a world that works for all. We know that consciousness is creating new realities, and so we return again and again to the source. And as always, we bless all priests, rabbis, ministers, teachers of all faiths, for we recognize and know there are many pathways to divine, and therefore we honor and celebrate them all. Life is good. All is well. And so in joy and gratitude, I simply give thanks. I release this word knowing it is so, as together we say, and so it is. Amen. Devin, go ahead and play the blessed song. We are indeed so very blessed. And so as our ushers are making their way forward, we're preparing our consciousness of giving and receiving as well as our gifts. We just participate in that divine flow. If you'll join me in our affirmation, joyously I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Please welcome back our friends, Aaron and Elizabeth.
Thank you, Marty. Marty asked us to mention where we're playing this evening. We will be at Pelican Snowball in York, South Carolina. We're playing a fundraiser there. Aaron founded a charity 3 years ago, the International Youth Music Project. We provide opportunities for music education for at-risk youth around the world. We actually just sent 3 guitars to Nairobi this week. We'll tell you more about that later if you want to come talk to us afterwards. Thank you. So the kids have these guitars to start a music program on Monday. So we're really excited. But this is the only song that Aaron and I have written together. We've written many apart, so we're really excited. This is brand new. We're excited to share it with you. It's called Forgiveness.
I wrote it for a Yom Kippur service at a Unity Church in Seattle. And that's a service of grieving, reconciliation, letting go, forgiveness. This is our forgiveness song. We call it the Forgiveness Song.
Give yourself the right to let go. What's in the past is past. The uncertainty, the blame. Nothing is forever, it won't last. Give yourself a better tomorrow. What's here is now. Rise above your mistakes. Believe that you can work it out somehow. Forgive, just let go. Don't hold on, just let it go. Forgive, I'm ready, just let go. To ask forgiveness, don't hold on, it's in the past, just let it go. I'm done with that. Forgive, I'm ready, just let go. To ask forgiveness, don't hold on, it's in the past, just let it go. I'm done with that. The uncertainty, the blame, nothing is forever, it won't last. Believe we are all in this together. Each link matters in the chain. Hold tight, you're strong, and know your efforts are not in vain. Believe that you can see it through. You are not alone. End this drought. Water your soul so it can grow. Forgive, just let go. Don't hold on, let it go. Forgive, I'm ready, and let go. To ask forgiveness, don't hold on, it's in the past, just let it go. I'm done with that. Forgive, I'm ready, just let go. To ask forgiveness, don't hold on, it's in the past, just let it go. I'm done with that. Forgive, just let go. Don't hold on, just let it go. Forgive, I'm ready, just let go. To ask forgiveness, don't hold on, it's in the past, just let it I'm go. Done with that. Forgive, I'm ready, just let go. To ask forgiveness, don't hold on, it's in the past, just let it go. I'm done with that. The uncertainty, the blame, nothing is forever, it won't last.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful. Really beautiful. Thank you. Perfect. Funny how the universe works. Absolutely perfect. So I would invite you to stand for our prayer of protection and then to sing the peace song. Happy Earth Day. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Remember the truth of who you are. Let your light shine brightly. So with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Blessings. Grab books.